So you think you know a lot about movies, do you? Are your friends often amazed by the amount of movie-based information you can store and recite? You might be able to recite the Rocky movies word for word. Perhaps you know which year every movie in the DC Cinematic Universe franchise is going to be released. And you might even know why anybody thought movie 43 would be a good idea. But what about all the work that goes on behind the scenes, in the wardrobe and special effects departments? There are a lot of facts about that kind of stuff that might just take you by surprise. And that's what we're here for. Here's a special costumes and makeup edition of 20 rapid behind the scenes movie facts.
Could you make me a woman?
In the Mrs. Doubtfire movie, Robin Williams' character, Daniel Hillard, is shown using a single mask for his transformation into the housekeeper. But Williams' actual makeup consisted of 8 different pieces. More than 60 different costumes were designed and made for Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman in Batman Returns, all at around a cost of $1,000 each. For her role as Sandy in Grease, Olivia Newton-John had to be sewn into her skin-tight trousers and wasn't allowed to go to the bathroom during shooting, as it would slow down production. Johnny Depp's costume for his starring role as Edward Scissorhands, which happened to include pieces of one of Tim Burton's old sofas, was installed with a special cooling suit that stopped him from overheating whilst filming in the Florida sunshine. Given the sheer number of prosthetics required for the numerous costumes in The Wizard of Oz, MGM set up an assembly line for applying the effects using extra staff recruited from the mailroom. That's one way to move up. In Mask, for practical reasons, the gap between Eric Stoltz's eyes after makeup was applied was only 1.5 inches. Had the gap matched the real-life dimension of Rocky Dennis's face, Stoltz's wouldn't have been able to see at all, as his eyes were actually 3.5 inches apart. The prosthetics that were created for John Hurt to wear in his role as Joseph Merrick in The Elephant Man were designed using casts that were taken from the real Merrick himself. Robert Englund's makeup for his role as Freddy Krueger in A Nightmare on Elm Street was originally supposed to show part of his skull showing through his head. However, to make it somewhat more plausible, and therefore scarier, that idea was scrapped. Once Ron Perlman's extensive costume and makeup were applied for his titular role in the Hellboy movies, the only part of his body that was left visible were his eyelids. The late John Matuzak spent 5 hours in the makeup chair getting Sloth's mechanical wonky eye attached for his role in The Goonies. It was important he didn't get it wet, as water caused the eye to malfunction, something that happened more than once during the pirate ship scenes. Although Margot Robbie has defended her character Harley Quinn's skimpy costume in Suicide Squad, in light of some negative responses to it, she's claimed that she would refuse to wear hot pants again if she reprised the role in a future DC movie. In order to play the younger version of the titular Charles Foster Kane in the iconic Citizen Kane, Orson Welles underwent extensive makeup, which actually included a form of a temporary facelift. The makeup in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button was exquisite, but the costume department also worked very closely with Levi's to authenticate various time periods captured throughout the film. Both Rebecca Romijn and Jennifer Lawrence had entire teams of makeup artists working on them to help portray Mystique in the X-Men movies, and they each had to undergo a daily transformation that took around 7 hours to apply. The iconic white polyester suit worn by John Travolta in Saturday Night Fever, which sold at auction for $145K, was originally bought off the peg in a cheap men's clothing store in Brooklyn. Elizabeth Olsen has now played Scarlet Witch 3 times in the MCU, in the Captain America the Winter Soldier mid-credits scene, Avengers Age of Ultron, and Captain America Civil War. But she revealed she was only convinced to do so when Joss Whedon promised she would never have to wear the revealing costume from the comic books. In order to achieve the Phantom's skull-like appearance in The Phantom of the Opera, the chameleonic Lon Chaney stretched a strip of translucent fish skin between his cap and his nostrils. Yuck. Selma Blair plays go-go dancer Ursula Utters in A Dirty Shame, and her character had huge breasts. The process of removing the prosthetic breasts worn by Blair broke the latex, so she had to don a new pair every single day. Charlize Theron underwent a dramatic transformation to portray the far less attractive alien Wuornos in Monster. One trick that made the transformation possible was applying gelatin to Theron's eyelids to cause them to drop, perfecting the permanently tired look of the character. Jim Carrey's prosthetics to play the Grinch in How the Grinch Stole Christmas was so tight and uncomfortable that the hilarious actor had a Navy SEAL teach him torture-resistance techniques to get through the shoot. Thanks for watching this special costumes and makeup edition of 20 rapid-fire behind-the-scenes movie facts. Did you know about any of these? Which other great facts about movie costumes and makeup do you know of? Let us know in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe to our channel for more great videos like this one.